Welcome back, guys and ladies. Another episode here of Bass and Furious TV. So, as the title indicates, we want to talk about a little bit something today. I know the title's probably going to confuse a lot of you, but it's alright. It'll make sense once I'm done. But are you casting too far? Like, too far? Like, I'm serious. Are you casting too far? So I'm gonna set this up for you. So, a lot of times, and this video is primarily going to be geared towards bank anglers and boat anglers, but a lot of times when you fish from the bank, and I got my little rod and reel set up here, guys, just to show you. I'm on the bank, right? I'm on the bank. So a lot of times when you get on the bank and you're fishing, what you want to do is get that cast out as far away from you as you can, and then work your bait along the bottom. Or if you can see a specific piece of structure out in the water. Hold on, I got a specific piece of bass that's blowing up right over here in front of me. So I'm gonna get my bait in the water while I talk to you guys. But so a lot of times what you want to do, guys, is if you're on the bank and you're fishing, you want to get your bait as far away from you as you can, and you want to work it back to you. So I'm gonna show you guys. Get my pole up here and show you guys what I'm talking about. You pull up on the bank, right? This is how we all do when we go fishing, right? You first get to the bank. You look out there, you kind of stand out, you see what's going on. I see some activity right there on the surface. But what I do, I get my pole, and bam, I put it far away from me as I can. I want it to hit the bottom, right? All right, boom, it just hit the bottom, and then I want to work it back, whether that be hopping it, whether that be dragging it, and basically what I'm doing is kind of feeling what's going on in the bottom. So I want to feel if I have like a hard bottom, is it kind of coming through grass, am I bumping into rocks? I just kind of want to feel what's on the bottom with my bait. Once I get an idea of what's on the bottom, that'll kind of let me know how I want to fish this. So do I want to come on the top? Do I want to come on the bottom? Is that where I'm getting bit? Do I see fish blowing up? Do I want to then throw something on the top? But that's kind of how you approach bank fishing. Now, if you think about it, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the first one that's going to put this out, but if you think about it, when you pull up on the bank, you immediately cast out that way. Think about if I were in a boat, though. What would I do? I would immediately cast towards the bank, right? That's what a lot of anglers do when you get in the boat. You start beating the bank. So you would see this vegetation, these lily pads, these little dollar pads and stuff up here. You would see them. You would cast your bait all the way up to the bank, and then you would want your bait to drag off of the dollar pads. You would let it sink down and hope you get bit on the edge of those pads, if not a little bit farther out on the edge, and then you would start looking for a specific structure, specific cover. If you don't get bit that way, then you would start looking for some other ways to fish. So to the topic of my thing is, are we casting too far? So then when you get out on a boat, and let's say you have like a grass fishery. All right, I'm gonna bring you guys back closer. I made my cast. Let's say, so like I said, you would cast up to these little dollar pads if you were out in the boat. You would let your bait come off the edge of them, drop down, and you would try to get bit there. If you saw this type of structure, that's how you would approach this. Most of the time, that's how you would approach it. You would throw a frog and throw a top water fluke, or you throw a swim jig and try to work it through all this stuff or something, a chatterbait, and throw it right on the edge of all this stuff and hope that your fish would smack it like right on the end. So how come when I'm on the bank fishing, my idea is to bomb it way out there in the middle of nothing when the good looking stuff is right here? So if you're on a grass fishery, right? I don't know if you guys are following the Bassmaster Elite Series event, but these dudes are fishing grass, and they are literally pitching the bait probably what's the length of my rod? 7 feet, probably 7 to 10 feet away from them. They're pitching Texas rigs, 7 to 10 feet away from them in grass, looking for empty spots in the grass, holes in the grass. They're just pitching in the holes, and that's it, within 10, 20 feet of them. But then you try to bomb a cast 70 feet away. Why? So my topic says, am I casting too far? So it's a relative term to how you're fishing and the style of what you're fishing. Obviously, if I'm fishing a clear place, there is no cover like this, I want to stay way back off the fish. I want to be as stealthy and as subtle as I can. Even if I'm flipping a lay down, I don't want to pull up on the lay down with my boat and then drop my bait down to it. I want to stay back off the lay down, right, and pitch up to it. But think about what I just said. I'm pitching up to it. I'm not bombing a cast 70, 80 yards away trying to hit the lay down. I still want to see what I'm doing. I want to get a good accurate cast at it, stay a safe distance from it where I'm not spooking my fish, and that's how I'm gonna get bit. So why it's a mindset thing, and I'm kind of doing a lot of videos like this about mindsets. But when you go from being a bank angler all the time and then you get in a boat and you wonder why you struggle, sometimes you got to shift your mindset around. You got to shift it around to, and then when you shift it around, you then shift it back around when you get on the bank and you're like, wait a minute, why am I casting 900 yards away from the bank when most of the fish are caught literally right here up on the bank? Why am I doing that? It doesn't make any sense. Why am I like, my arms sore and my back hurts when I get done from bank angling because I'm twisting and turning my cast and flying this cast? I've caught so many fish flipping literally right in front of me. I'll take my bait and I'll just pitch it out right in front into a laydown that I see or a patch of grass that I see. I'll pitch it right there and I'll get smoked. And I'll make 37 casts all out in all the open water. Don't catch nothing. Pitch it literally right in front of my feet. Smoked. So I'm going to pitch around a little bit. Let you guys kind of think about that for a second, because I know I got a lot of bank anglers that follow my channel and I got a lot of boat anglers that follow my channel. Oh shoot. A lot of times what we do as bass anglers is, like I said, first cast, 1,000 yards away. Way out into nothing. And then you're like, some bank anglers now, some of them do just come up and hit specific targets, throw a certain bait, and they go home. That's it. Other ones will sit out there a real long time with a drop shot or a shaky hit or something, drag along the bottom, and finally get bit, you know, at some point in the day. And then there's some of us that kind of do a mixture of both, and I feel like that's where I'm at. That's why I feel like for me, transition into the boat was pretty hard, but not like I couldn't figure it out at all. It just took a little bit, like I said. And then once I started catching fish on the boat consistently, then it was like, all right, what am I doing wrong on the bank? Now that I've seen everything, right? Because here's the thing, a lot of guys, man, you'll hear so many guys say this, and it gets so old. It gets so old to me. But I got a fish following my bait right now. Let me bring the camera up here for this, because this to me gets so old, so old. You go on the bank, you fish for 3 hours, you can't get to one spot on the bank, right? The one spot, one patch of lily pads, one little isolated tree, one little lay down, blow down, whatever it is may be. You can't get to that one thing, and then you go, you fish everything else on the bank, you can't get to that one spot, and then you go back and be like, well, all the fish was over on the lily pads, that's why I didn't catch them. Well, all the fish was over on that laydown I couldn't get to, that's why I didn't catch them. Really, bro? Really? They all was on that one laydown? Every fish in the whole pond was on that one laydown that you couldn't get to? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? That's probably one of my biggest things that irked the crap out of me, is like, if you look at a place and you don't never catch nothing and you say all the fish was in the one spot you couldn't get to. Dude. Yeah, where's your pond at? Tell me, comment below where your pond is. I will come to your pond if it's close enough to me, and I will debunk your theory. I guarantee I'll debunk your theory. Either there ain't no fish in there, you won't throw in the right thing, the fish just ain't want to chew, somebody caught them 2 hours before you got out there and they just smoked them and the fish just won't chew it no more. There's a lot of reasons why the fish weren't, but to say that they won't, all the fish in that whole pond was on the one tree. You telling me 1,000 fish in the thing was on that one tree? Come on, man. Come on, bro. You're going to have to open up your mind a little bit, because if that's your thought process, you ain't going to never catch nothing, especially when you get in the boat, because you're going to try a bunch of stuff, and then you're going to be like, oh, well, if I could have lifted my boat up out the water with 3 people and then put it up over top of this tree and then got it on plane and ran it over top of on the side of these cypress trees, and I turned my boat sideways and dumped everything out and then made 3 casts back over my shoulder to the left, I would have caught all. Come on, man, you just making up junk at this point. But I wanted my topic, like I said, it says, are you casting too far? And that's like the deal. That's what I'm trying to say. So sometimes I'm trying to do in this whole series where I just talk to you guys a little bit instead of just go out and catch a bunch of fish and tell you what pond I'm at, or don't tell you what pond I'm at, catch a bunch of fish, keep it moving. I'm trying to give you guys some stuff that can actually help you. I just hope you can hear me. But sometimes you just got to know when to pull the plug. The fish just not biting. Just go home. Don't make no excuses. Just go home, retie, come back out again, try a different thing. One of the big things I've noticed has helped me is fishing ponds that are local to me at different times of the day. Because it is the craziest thing, but it's not crazy at all. You can hit the pond always in the evening when you get off from work between 5 and 7 and never get a bite. But then you can go that same pond at 8 to 9 a.m. and catch like 15 pounds in your best 5 in like 30 minutes. And then you can come back to that same pond at 8 o'clock and catch 19 pounds. And then you can come back the next day at like 6 a.m. and catch like 12 pounds. It just depends. Sometimes, and here's the thing. You never have to change the spot you go into, because the spot you probably went to were good spots. The fish just weren't there at that time that you went. So one of the key things I can share with you guys is just try it at different times. I've been doing that a lot with the ponds that are near me. I'll go sometimes between 10 and 11. I'll go back sometimes between 3 and 4. And then I'll go back sometimes between 7 and 8. And all 3 of those different times a day, depending on what time I go, I'll go to the exact same spot, use the exact same lures, make the exact same cast. And sometimes between 9 and 10, I'll catch a bunch. Sometimes between 9 and 10, I'll catch nothing. Sometimes between 5 and 6, I'll catch a bunch. Sometimes I'll catch nothing. And if you do that consistently, if you have time, you know what I'm saying? If you have time, you do it consistently, you'll start to dial in when's the best time to go to your pond. And it might change slightly, give or take like an hour or 2. But for the most part, it's going to be pretty consistent. So I know there's a pond in my area that I can go to every day between 6 and 8 in the evening, and I'm going to get lit up. And also I can go between 8 and 9 in the morning, and I'm going to get lit up. Everything in between is a hit or miss. Everything in between is a hit or miss. Sometimes I've caught a 4-pounder at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Does not happen a lot. Does not happen a lot. It's very rare. Very, very rare that that'll happen. But most of the time, and the thing is, most of those fish that I'm talking about that I catch, I'm gonna show you. This is the cast I make to catch them. This is the cast that all bank anglers make. Is this one? 777 yards. It's like I'm Tom Brady trying to throw it down the sideline. Peyton Manning trying to throw it to Marvin Harrison down the sideline, right? 97-yard complete pass. That's the cast most of us make. That very rarely catches me anything. Very rarely do I get bit on the end of a long bomb cast. Very rarely. Like right now, I just let it hit the bottom. We're gonna test the theory, because I'm gonna do it right now. I just bombed this out there. I've hopped it once, hopped it twice. It's still on the bottom. Now I'm just gonna drag it a little bit. Drag it a little bit. All right. I'm not skimping on this cast. I made a 77-yard completion to Marvin Harrison down the sideline. We're gonna work this cast. Marvin Harrison's gonna try to get in the end zone. Right now he at about midfield though. He's still working his way. Still working his way. I don't want to get hung up. Now Marvin Harrison is on like the goal line right now. Okay. Marvin Harrison's on the goal line, right? He's trying to get in the end zone right now. He's trying to break a tackle. He broke a tackle. I had something following it, but so here I am. I'm all the way back. I'm at the bank. I'm 77 yard. He fumbled at the end zone. We ain't getting no touchdown. Now, here we go. That right there. That's the cast that you should be making, depending on what type of cover you have and what's going on at your body of water. This particular body of water, that bomb cast ain't gonna do nothing but just make you cast a lot, because you're trying to cover water. With like a crankbait, maybe something that can get down really quick, hit the bottom, bang, 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 and you can kind of search around real quick. It's not a bad idea to cover this whole place with a crankbait, figure out what's on the bottom, and then concentrate once you start to bump into something. On that whole cast, I didn't bump into anything. There was really nothing that a fish should be holding on to out there or relating to out there. I didn't notice any changes in the bottom that felt good. I didn't bump any stumps. I didn't bump any rocks. All right, guys, I'm off the water now. My phone actually ended up dying, overheating, actually. My phone ended up overheating. I ended up overheating. And didn't quite get to finish that video on the water because I was trying to film it on my phone. If I did on my GoPro, probably it overheated too. It was hot. It was like 90 degrees. So what I was trying to say is that on that particular cast, like just trying to reel it back, I didn't feel anything the fish would relate to on that cast. So like I was saying, are we casting too far? Like, do you cast too far? Obviously, casting distance is important. Being able to cast a far distance is very important, especially when it comes to fishing. Also, too, it's big when it comes to fishing out the back of the boat. Like you really want your stuff tuned and dialed to be able to get your cast out pretty far, because a lot of times you're not going to have the best angle at stuff, so you're going to have to like try to make it stretch when it comes to actually catching a fish. So being able to cast far is great. That wasn't what my video was about, is actual casting distance. How far can you cast? That wasn't what this video is about. It's like I said, a mindset thing. Are we actually just casting too far when you're trying to catch a bass? Knowing that bass only relate to certain things, bass only do certain things, they only go certain places. Bass aren't like, you know what I mean, people that like, they love to travel, but they're only going to travel on a certain route. They don't just like, if the highway is the highway, you're not going to catch a bass that's like not on the highway. He's got to be along a route. He might veer off that route a little bit, and you might catch him every once in a while where the route is supposed to be. They're like right beside the route. You know what I'm saying? You might do that, and that's cool. But guess what that is? That still isn't a 177-yard cast. It's usually right off the route, which is like 16 yards instead of 15 yards, or 6 feet instead of 5 feet kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? So it still goes to my same point, is that sometimes you're just casting too far. Sometimes you just want to just take a whole step back, a whole different approach. Try not to bomb it out as far as you can. Come back in a little closer, see if you can get bit a little bit closer. Try that. Bomb out a cast, feel the bottom, understand what's going on. Look for what's closer to you. Try to put a couple casts there, see what's going on. If it ain't working, either one of those two, that's pretty much your only two options. So move. Next spot. Try it again. See what happens. Look for something else. Look for something that, look for some points. Look for some structure that is less than obvious, because you'll always see an obvious stump that everybody goes out and pitches to. But what about the stump that's underneath the water, that's in front of the stump, that everybody can see? That other stump is probably where you're gonna get a bass at. So look for those kind of things. So just little stuff you guys can try when you go fishing to hopefully help increase your kill cup ratios, increase your chances of being able to catch a fish, and share that you caught a fish on your socials. Put the fish back in the water and keep it moving. So hopefully this video helps. If you do think it helps, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, comment below if you got some tips or suggestions as well. Always love to hear that. I always feel like we can help each other by sharing. So as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. You guys are the best, my Bass and Furious friends. Peace, peace. I'm out.